looked at them for a moment, took in Chitteratifor's flashy outfit.
"Yes, you are not dressed for this doorway. I should have noticed."
It thought for a second.
"You are in wrong place. Business visitors must visit to the business centre. You go back 5 blocks and then onto the concourse of the Great Tycoon. Wait, I'll get you a map."
The creature didn't move. But Vendacious realized the pack was even more numerous than he had thought, extending back out of sight into the building. These Easterners tolerated the most grotesque perversions. Chitteratifor shuffled back in Vendacious's direction, and the nearest of him hissed,
"That's a 2-mile walk just to get to the other side of this friggin' building."
Vendacious nodded and walked around his servant, confronting the gatekeeper directly.
"We've come all the way from the West Coast to help Tycoon. We demand a courteous response, not petty delays."
The nearest members of the gatekeepers stepped back timidly. Up close, Vendacious could hear that this was no military pack. Except at dinner parties, it probably never had killed a single living thing. In fact, the creature was so naive that it didn't really recognize the deadly anger confronting it. After a moment, it reformed its line and said,
"Nevertheless, sir, I must follow my orders. Business visitors use the business entrance."
Chitteratifor was hissing murder. Vendacious waved him quiet. But Vendacious really didn't want to walk around to the official entrance, and that wasn't just a matter of convenience. He now realized that finding this entrance was a lucky accident. Woodcarver's spies were unlikely this far from home, but the fewer people who could draw a connection between Tycoon and Vendacious, the better. He backed off courteously, out of the gatekeeper's space. This entrance would be fine, if he could just talk to someone with a mind.
"Perhaps your orders do not apply to me."
The gatekeeper pondered the possibility for almost 5 seconds.
"But I think they do apply,"
it finally said.
"Well then, while we wait for the map, perhaps you could pass on an enquiry to someone who deals with difficult problems."
There were several lures Vendacious could dangle.
"Tell your supervisor that his visitors bear news about the invasion from outer space." "The what from where?" "We have eyewitness information about the humans."
That provoked more blank looks.
"Damn it, fellow, this is about the mantis monsters."
Mention of the mantis monsters did not produce the gatekeeper's supervisor. The fivesome who came out to see them was far higher in the chain of command than that. Ramas Rittlefear asked a few sharp questions and then waved for them to follow him. In a matter of minutes, they were past the gatekeeper and walking down carpeted corridors. Looking around, Vendacious had to hide his smiles. The interior design was a perfection of bad taste and mismatched wealth, proof of the foolishness of the newly rich. Their guide was a very different matter. Ramas Rittlefear was mostly slender, but there were scars on his snouts and flanks, and you could see the lines of hard muscle beneath his fur. His eyes were mostly pale yellow, and not especially friendly. It was a long walk, but their guide had very little to say. Finally, the corridor ended at a member-wide door, more like the entrance to an animal den than the office of the world's richest commoner. Ramas Rittlefear opened the door and stuck a head in.
"I have the Outlanders, Your Eminence," he said.
A voice came from within.
"That should be my lord. Today I think my lord sounds better."
"Yes, my lord."
But the 4 of Ramas Rittlefear who were still in the corridor rolled their heads in exasperation.
"Well then, let's not waste my time. Have them all come in. There's plenty of room."
As Vendacious filed through the narrow doorway, he was looking in all directions.